Hey, CruzArmor here. We are wrapping this brand new Vivid Black 2024 Road Glide with the new body style. We have a 7-piece kit actually that covers this whole fairing. Easy to install. We're going to go ahead and start with this center piece. We've already prepped the entire bike, the whole front end of this. If you've not seen the prep video, we're going to insert it right now. Step 1, how to prepare everything. And we're also going to include the step 2 video, which is tips and techniques, kind of how to speak the language of CruzArmor PPF and all the ins and outs of installing it. And then we're going to go to step 3, which was actually the installation of this gorgeous bike. So we'll be right back. If you've already seen those videos, go ahead and just move forward to step 3. Okay, we are back and we are ready to start installing step 3 on this bike. The first piece is going to be this center piece. There's actually the center piece, and then you have top pieces on each side. There's a strip that goes under this top piece, and then there's the full side piece. So we're going to go ahead and start with this top piece. Make sure everything's wet. This is a soapy solution, so you want to make sure everything's super wet so we can wash out any dust that might be on here. It might have migrated onto here since we prepped the whole bike, and now we're just going to set it in there. And we are going to go ahead and just squeegee it down a little bit. You see how you're going to have these little relief fingers. You want those to be just above the body line here. But we're going to go ahead, like I say, just go ahead and you can kind of squeegee some of this, because since it's the soap, it's still going to slide around even after we squeegee this. So we can go ahead and get that squeegeed on. Like you can see, it'll still move around a little bit. So we can kind of fine tune side to side where we want this thing. And when you get it exactly where you want it there, now we can take a little alcohol spray and go ahead and lift any edge here. We're just going to start with a, like I say, start with an edge. Again, we want it equal distance side to side. And we'll just tack that little edge right there with the alcohol. Okay. And then what you want to do, I'm going to give it a little more alcohol, make sure this is good and tacked down. Then we're just going to kind of work our way across here. So we can pull it a little, just give it a little tension, and you'll see these fingers disappear like we discussed in that tips and techniques video to get the fingers out. So we're just going to stretch it a little side to side, but we want to make sure that relief is still in the proper position. And there we go. Okay, we're going to deal with these here in a moment, but now we're going to work everything up to the back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just lifting a little bit up there and putting a little alcohol on each side so that when we push this back, it's going to stay back. So we're going to push it back a little and go ahead and start squeegeeing back towards that point. And then we can come across. And we want everything off of this line. We want everything off the front. You don't want to leave any liquid bubbles. I'm giving it good pressure right now. With CruzArmor, as long as you keep this stuff wet on top, I mean, you can really push on this. What you do, you want to get all those bubbles out so the thing dries as flat as possible. So same concept. We're going to go and we're going to kind of end everything back in that corner. And there we go. Yeah, you want to push it up there until you can feel that it's hitting the back line there of the film. And there we go. Okay, so this centerpiece is done, other than the front lip here. So now what we're going to do is just come down on the front with the alcohol mix. Just spraying those little tabs. Starting in the middle, just giving it just a little tension. We're just pushing that down, then work our way across, grab this, give it a little tension just so that you don't get wrinkles or gaps up in that relief cut. We do the same with this one. Push it down, come over to this edge, give it just a little tension, and push it down. And then we'll work like I say, these final little one here. Again, these little fingers that pop up, you can deal with those after if you have any fingers, as that step 2 tip technique video shows. Here. There. And lastly, this one here. A little more alcohol under those. Again, that alcohol just washes out any soap that might have ended up on the film. And if you use too much soap, you can get a lot of it into the adhesive, and so it just takes a little more alcohol to wash that stuff out. But that's good right there. So now we're going to go ahead and move to this side over here. So I'm going to just drop that down a little bit, and we'll go ahead and move to the side. Now we're going to move over to this top piece here. So I went ahead and removed that piece. And again, spray everything good. Wash down any dirt or dust that might have landed there while you were away. And now, I'm just going to set this piece on here. And we're going to go ahead and just think about lining this up right here. And you'll see that this comes in and actually protects on the inside of that as well. So we're just going to take alcohol and line that up right. Yeah. You want it just over the edge. Okay. So we're just spraying some alcohol in there. We're going to go ahead and make sure that this is locked down on this side. That way when we stretch this back, everything's going to stay in place down here. Okay. So this whole nose point is good and stuck. Everything still is sliding. That's good. Now we're going to put a little alcohol at the back end. So we know that front corner's tacked down. Again, now we're just going to get this back. I'm going to actually get some alcohol on my fingers so that they don't slide as easily. And then we're just going to pull this thing back and line this up back here. So we're pulling this thing back. So now this back end is locked down. As you can see, when we stretch that, all these fingers that were here a minute ago disappeared. Because everything's locked down here good, it's not pulling away. So those are all tricks, again, that you need to know from the tips video, just knowing how to use that alcohol just so that you can anchor things down. It makes things so easy when you can speak the language. But it's quite simple. You're tacking, anchoring, stretching so that these edges lay down really nicely over this edge. And again, just a little alcohol there. And some of these little fingers we can deal with, again, some of these little things we'll deal with when we're all done. But the faster we can get these big pieces down without dust getting in them. Okay, now we're going to move on to this side little piece. Again, I've pulled the piece off of the backing liner. And now this thing is just going to go on just like this. It fits right in that gap. There we go. So on this one, we can go ahead and just gonna make sure that it's tacked back here. And then bring it all the way to the forward here. Pull it back. Okay, here we are with this final side and nose piece. Which we can just line all these little things up where they go, and around the front there. Okay. And we'll just kind of start right in here. See where this little tab kind of rolls over the front of that, so you know it's right in there. And you're looking kind of in here where this tab goes into this little gap here. And again, with the soapy water, this thing will still move. Still gonna move, and you can look back at the back, make sure that everything lines up, everything's far enough forward. And we are good. That's a good fit right there. So now we're gonna go ahead, give it a little more solution, a little more soap. Make sure everything's butt up against the other piece there. Perfect. And then just squeegee her out. Get this side. Just overlapping strokes. Again, this piece, no stretching really. Just lay it on, squeegee it down. Make sure the top surface is wet so that everything slides really easily. You want to give it some pretty good pressure. When you get to these little tabs here, I take a little bit of alcohol. And then these you can kind of carefully, push it down in there, squeegee it down. Now that's locked into place. Same thing with this little tab. And you don't want this up and over this. You want it right under that edge, this line. And then these again, these just kind of roll right in. Simple. Now what we have is just this little teeny little strip here. Which you'll just pull in there. And now we just got to do this lower piece and pull this forward. Bring it back, put a little soap in here. Okay, now we're going to just bring everything forward. And so you can kind of see where this and this piece that we put here ends here. So we just want to pull this just a little further, which will also get rid of these fingers back here. So we're going to put some alcohol up front, right on the nose here. This piece is going to go to the direct center, so you want to pull it enough so that it goes to the center of your light. And in doing so, all those little fingers back there. So again, I just tack this with the alcohol, and now we just kind of work our way back. We can use alcohol anywhere that we might have, like say where the film might be wanting to lift at all. Just a little alcohol there, and I think that is a Road Glide fairing installed. Now if you just take a towel, you want to dry everything off, and then again, use some of those techniques if you have any fingers anywhere, but even a dry towel just takes care of a lot of those. But wipe everything down, not against the grain. You don't want to push up against it and roll the film, so use your towel as if it was a squeegee. And that is done.